Hello, this is the 10 Eyes Podcast, a weekly show that talks about our love and our hate for all things media, ranging from video games to TV show. Hosted by me, Jack.
I'm Sam. Hello.
And I'm Andrew.
Okay, so I'm just going to put out there that there will be a trigger warning for any kinds of suicide, gore, lots of creepypasta stuff, and we do make a couple jokes about it, so please view at your own discretion.
Welcome all everyone back to 10 Eyes Podcast. And with that, I want to ask my fellow people in the studio, what did you have for breakfast this morning, guys?
Andrew, you have to go first.
Yeah, I gotta go first. I had a pretty stacked one. I woke up pretty early this morning. I actually got I'm not gonna say an early night's sleep, but I got a night's sleep. So I woke up 7, got out of bed just before 9, and I was just fucking hungry. I won't lie. I had a banana, a bag of crisps, a protein bar, and then after that I was still I'm still starving. So then I had a bowl of crave.
God damn, that is such a contrast
That is a lot. Damn, yeah.
That's more than Jack's had for breakfast for the last
That's
decade.
a dinner. That's a dinner.
Jack, what did you have?
Oh, I thought you were going first. Sam.
I'm happy to go first. I didn't actually have breakfast. That's
Oh
why,
my god!
That's why.
Oh my god! They're swapping places.
I know.
Oh my
I'm swapping. I didn't have breakfast. I had lunch. I had stuff from the uni canteen. It was very nice. I had the baguette and some chips and stuff.
Oh, what was in the baguette?
It was the barbecue chicken and cheese.
Ooh.
I wanted to go fancy. I didn't really want a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, no bacon.
So this is why I wanted to go last because I didn't have breakfast. I had lunch.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know about you.
When it comes to my breakfast, I think you'll never believe it,
Holy moly.
but I did have something.
We both gasped in unison.
Hold up.
one cookie.
Are you what?
That's insane.
One cookie.
Yes.
What cookie was it? Wait. What cookie was
It
it?
was the off-brand ones you can get at Aldi.
Wait,
Crumble
so was
cookie.
it the little ones?
Yeah, the
It
little
wasn't
ones.
even like a big Subway cookie.
No.
That
It
ain't
was like a
breakfast.
No. I mean, it's more than you had.
Oh, that's true. I had lunch though. What did you have at
Yeah.
lunch then, Jack?
Oh.
Oh, right, yeah. Lunch has also been. I haven't had that yet either.
See, there we go. At least I had food. I don't want to hear it, guys.
It's the usual thing for a good old Jack to not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm feeling energetic and I'm really excited because today we are talking about creepypastas.
Ooh.
I was gonna do that. I thought that was
Yeah, it's real creepy.
It's it's real creepy.
That's one way to describe
But
it.
yeah, no, I was also feeling that this is fitting. This is kind of like the last episode we can push up before Halloween, and we'll get a nice last little
Yeah.
spooky, creepy little episode for the ones to go out. And what better thing than creepypastas, which are campfire stories, but on the internet. It's a fitting little last thing to do. So stuff like that. Speaking of internet stuff, I also was at a Comic-Con MCM London this weekend, which was a lot of fun.
Wait, so who did you go as?
I went as Gojo.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's from.
He's gonna win.
I don't know what that's from.
Stop! Stop!
I don't know what that's from.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
I assume an anime.
Yeah,
it's an anime.
Okay,
Anime
yeah, I
and
see.
manga.
Oh, okay.
The cosplay was really cheap. That's the only reason I did it.
Oh, that's fair
Yeah.
enough. Isn't it the one with the white hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
that before.
But just wanted to mention that, and anyone I met there, that was lovely and brilliant. It was a really good time all around, and I also watched the DA Games concert that was there. It was all around a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
I mean, I'm interested in cosplay casually, but I've just never really gone into it.
Who would you cosplay?
Garo from One Punch Man. I fucking love him.
Okay,
He's
that's
so
fair, that's
awesome.
That's understandable.
This was really my first proper time doing it, and I'm just go for it. Actually, it was surprisingly a lot of fun, and I'm planning to do it again with other characters. Actually, you know what? Give me some suggestions in the comments. Who knows if we get any?
Were you with other people?
I was
or
with
just-
my
The
other
society.
Other
Oh,
society
okay,
friends.
cool,
Yeah.
cool.
stuff
That
like
was awesome.
So yeah, it was.
Yeah, I didn't go.
I'm very jealous. I can't really cosplay people.
I'd also just have to realize that you just said society, and people who do not know uni will be so confused when you just went society. I went with a society as a whole. I went with all of.
Basically a club.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
went.
went with-
I went
yeah,
with the whole society of the UK, in the humanity.
You went with
That's-
the UK.
Yes, I went with the UK as Gojo. Just
Ugh, that's great. You went with your
British
friends.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
That would be awful. I've never even seen it, but I know that'd be awful.
You fucking what, mate?
Yeah, just be speaking a British slang towards someone. Like what?
I mean, all right, that would be another episode. We're getting a bit off track, so let us get into the creepypastas.
Ooh.
All right.
Every
Stop.
time.
I gotta stop.
No, do it every time. No.
We don't know. We've just generally collected a bunch of creepypastas together. We
Yeah.
don't know the ones we're about to tell.
I mean,
Yeah, we set out a challenge for ourselves to not tell each other. So when we're listening to them, it's our first time listening.
I mean,
For me personally, because my point of view is I don't read creepypastas. I did not grow up with this. So for me, I'm listening to these really for the first time.
Yeah, no, when I think creepypastas, I get reminded a lot of like when I was like a little tyke on the internet, little like 9-year-old running around.
Yeah,
Oh shit, Lavender Town's haunted and Luigi's dead.
Oh no, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I was just on my Xbox with people that I know. So I was
Squidward's unaliving. Oh no.
Oh my god. Yeah, see, to me, this is foreign concepts. Foreign concepts.
I think I've killed our producer.
No, you'll hear why.
Oh my god, don't tell me you're talking about that. I'm going to kill you.
All right.
Let's get into them,
Without
please.
further ado, let us start with the first story, and that being Jeff the Killer.
Ooh.
This one's very iconic. Someone who doesn't,
I
know
one
this
of-
one.
definitely
I don't
one
know
of
the
the
story,
ones.
but I know about the character and the
Yeah.
Tumblr arts.
Yeah, I know like the image. It's like
the
everyone
image.
knows
Yeah,
it.
everyone knows the image.
Everyone knows the
White
image.
guy.
White. yeah, you actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a story that a lot of people know, but to give you a summary of the story for those who do not know, and that is what that was that. Jeff was once a protected 13-year-old boy who cared deeply for his family, and after a tragic accident and going insane, he became murderous, dangerous, and merciless homicidal psychopath.
That's so generic.
Yeah, that sounds
I give
very
that a stinker. Like,
yeah.
wait, that's the entire
like-
thing.
So
He's
that
just a
is-
murderer.
So
That's crazy.
the thing about Jeff the Killer is that is really the whole story summarized. And the thing is, reading it for this podcast, again, I read it while I was about to go to sleep on one of the Comic-Con nights. Oh my god, the guy who wrote this has to be 13.
I think all of them are.
Yeah, no, because when I was reading a bunch of them, I did see Jeff the Killer. And I thought, I know that's gonna be 13. How is it like a 13-year-old wrote? Is it just the dialogue?
It's the dialogue and generally like the story. Because it opens with like this police interrogation. Like, so there was this boy who was like almost murdered, and the boy starts like, I woke in the middle of the night and a curtain gave me a fright. It was like,
Oh
what
my
kid
God.
speaks
What
like
nursery
this?
rhyme.
No kid speaks like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this is a bit bumpy, but let's see how this goes along.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it's like, throughout the story, there's times where like, Jeff has the feeling, and it's like, Jeff felt the feeling. It wasn't so much of a painful
Wait,
feeling.
he has the shining.
Yeah,
Shining.
The Shining
He
comes
has The
back,
Shining,
guys.
but
It comes
it's-
back. Bro,
Shining in a different font. Like,
I was just gonna say, he's used like a self-insert.
But like, yeah, so it's like he had this feeling. It wasn't much of a bad feeling, but it was a feeling. And they used the feeling, just that word, so much.
my
And
God.
then you have like the most Stephen King bullies to have ever existed.
Oh my
And
God.
they are
Kick
at
in-
least,
kick in the water.
and then like we get their age, which was like, okay, so the leader of them looks to be 12, it says. And it's like, okay, so that makes Jeff 1 year older. He's 13.
Wait,
They-
Wait, the police officer was 12.
No, the bully was 12.
The bullies.
He was somehow
We'll get into the police officer in a second, but just to quickly like summarize, like the first line this bully says is like, well, looks like we have some new meat, and I'm like, what the?
Ew.
What are these bullies? And the narrator, by the way, I'm just gonna have to preface it. The narrator calls like one of the bullies is like lackeys. A tub of larb.
A tub of love.
It's like, why is the narrator so mean?
That's the best description ever.
I'm gonna be laughing so much this episode. I'm
It's gonna
so
go great.
sorry.
It's
in
fine.
advance.
It's fine. So am I.
And like and Jeff has the feeling, and then he fights the bullies, and then like it gets pretty violent. And then like later when they go home, the police come over and they're like, "So Jeff, were you the one that did it?" And like Jeff is like, "Yeah, I did it." And he just goes, "All right, kid. Looks like you got a year in juvie." And it's like the police doesn't
What?
work like that.
Oh yeah, murder people.
Didn't even get a trial.
No, it didn't get a
Immediate,
trial or anything. It was
immediate.
just no. That's how it works.
It's like, how can you believe a kid? Because they're like known liars half the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know any kid who's like, yeah, I've definitely murdered him.
And
yeah.
like eventually Jeff gets into this horrible accident, which is like how he gets his like weird face and all that, and then he goes crazy, he loses his mind, and then like that night the mom comes in and he's like carved the smile into his face, and like the mom is like, "What did you do that for, Jeff?" And like I felt I was reading just somebody's joke from the Dark Knight, like
Yeah,
fan fiction.
fanfic.
This is like, "What's wrong, mommy? Aren't
Oh
I
my
beautiful?" And it's like, what are
Oh.
these?
Oh god, it's giving like Joker 2.
Edgy.
It's so edgy. And then the mom is like, you look beautiful, honey. Goes to like the bedroom and like, this is your child. And the mom just goes, "Honey, get the gun."
What? See,
He's a wrong'un.
having no idea what Jeff the Killer was about, it is
Yeah, no.
about what I expected. Like,
I think it's worse than I expected.
no, I like, yeah, 12-year-old has done edgy things. Like,
Yeah, and I found it really funny when I read the summary that our wonderful producer will put together for us. Like, clap out to that. And I just want to say, reading it, I'm like, well, that's about all the seriousness of the story, because if you put down the summary of the entire thing, it's the worst story I've ever read.
I think this is like a common theme. Lots of them. Like, I'm gonna get into it later, specifically with my last one. But I'm going to rip the shit into some of it.
please
Yeah.
do, please
But to kind of give it like some final thoughts of it, I will say that it's really, really bad. But without it, we wouldn't have like the emergence of creepypastas.
You wouldn't have what it is today.
It is, and it's like it really defined what creepypastas
Yeah.
were. And I'm like, it's a classic. It's a very bad classic, but it's still a classic.
You know, it's culture defining.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
culture funny, and I think with my story, if we're happy to go into
Let's
that
go
one,
into that one.
SCPs.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, we
They
all know what
count?
it is, but yeah, they
Oh
count.
yeah,
So-
I don't
so
know anything about
for
SCPs.
SCPs to me are an excuse for any type of mystery, any type of horror, any type of killer to exist.
Yeah.
There are fundamentally like over 1 million of them that you can do, and all you need to do is stick this name on it, and it's attached to a lore. Like it's a video game on Steam and stuff like that you can play. And my one is SCP 3008.
3008.
Exactly,
There's a lot
3000.
of them.
So this man finds a journal on the floor, and it outlines the days spent within to be a never-ending IKEA. There's this journal that someone finds, and it goes through this story about how someone ends up in a never-ending IKEA with workers with no faces on. Very Doctor Who, I feel like.
That's actually really good.
That's kind of, it's kind of an interesting
That's
concept.
not
So
creepy at all.
No,
The premise is just so
that's what I'm saying. I want to talk about these concepts here. Like, a never-ending IKEA is so funny because it's just a furniture store. But the fact that the workers and everything have no faces, and and later on in the story, it tells you how they follow him and trying to keep him out. And it's very interesting as there are towns within this IKEA. It's like how, okay, so you guys know Silent Hill and all that
I was
stuff.
gonna
and how
say
it's
that this very much gives like early backroom vibes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's the
yeah, I
best
was
way to describe
thinking
it.
of that,
It's a
yeah.
backroom-esque thing where this person not knowing certain aspects of the outside world, the fact that it's a never-ending IKEA and the people within there don't know much about the outside world is really interesting to me, because when you're reading, when it's the story that it does, and the fact it's a journal, they are as clueless as the person in the journal, and it really kind of messes with your head when you're reading it. So the fact that the townsfolk don't know about these really popular places and the Statue of Liberty and the kind of ideologies of the Prime Minister being around, is it still the same person? It's kind of done in like a Black Mirror-esque way.
It
it
really
comes on
like
his head.
for me, I really like the concept of the story because it like really brings in the horror of like isolation and what people don't
yeah.
know and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then I don't know where the story goes, but like you can introduce things of like what reality is real and what really isn't, and then it's like you could introduce some really good concepts in that. So I'm like, this has a lot of potential, if you ask me.
Yeah, a lot of SCPs too, and the story ends and it's assumed that they were leaving to another town within the IKEA. The man's lost the group and they've kind of sprinted, finally exiting, but 10 seconds out of the building, they were killed by a worker. They could not escape.
Oh.
So these people are going for this IKEA, trying to find a way out, and right as they have made it to the end, they have a false hope and a false sense of security, and they get killed by these faceless killers.
Yeah.
Which leads to the theories around it. Is that some comments and people online believe that the IKEA could be a universal gateway to the entire timeline and dimensions all sorted within it.
Really bad.
So it's like really back rooms and really
Yeah.
early, and that the IKEA workers are the keepers who keep it kind of clean and stocked with food, and it keeps it kind of together. It keeps it in check. These workers. And
I was
they're there
thinking
just to
like sort of
protect.
like uncontacted tribe sort of vibes, or
Yeah,
like or like someone can get lost. I was thinking like, oh yeah, like how's George Washington doing? Like, is he still
Yeah.
around? He's still kicking British butt.
Yeah, to me in the story, I went into a deep rabbit
The
hole.
redcoats are getting their ass kicked by George still, I assume.
Yeah, when I read it I read it once, and I went on this deep rabbit hole in the theories, and a lot of them are like the people in the journal. He's not the first one there because how come the workers are there, or he's the last one there? It's just kind of very, very interesting to me as a concept, but the hilarity of it that it's a never-ending IKEA. Like
Yeah.
everyone's been to an IKEA. It's great.
I
there.
haven't been to an IKEA.
You haven't been to an
I
IKEA?
wow.
Yeah,
What?
people are gonna hate me. I've never been
Guernsey,
to.
Guernsey boy.
We got a B&Q, but not an IKEA.
Yeah.
I went to an IKEA once. Like once, I don't really go there often, but I went there once and I had like this mentality. I'm like, oh, I will stand by that. You go in here and you get tricked into buying something when you don't need it. Is what
Oh
I,
yeah,
Yeah,
always.
don't
Yeah,
they have those like
yeah.
huge sharp
And I was-
plushies?
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and I was determined I will not buy anything. The next thing I do is that I'm with like people. I turn to them and I'm like, yo, you mind if I get this? And I'm like, wait, what? Why do I even need this thing? Why
You
do I
don't need
want
it, but
this?
you want it, and that's definitely the inspiration of it. I feel with the story, the SCP is that like when you're in an IKEA, you feel so entrapped.
It's true.
To me, I go in there and I go, oh, I feel like I've never left this place.
I agree with that. It's a creepy and a really good concept for a story, if you ask me. Just anything about being trapped or needing to find a way out is always good. And I don't know, it really like I feel like horror like that really excels. Like for example, you have the Kane Pixels Backrooms first like lost footage. That so for example, it like hangs back to that. I think it's good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Andrew, do you have
Yeah,
anything different?
I was just gonna say, like, I think when I first heard it, I thought it was a very goofy premise. You know,
It
just
is.
like infinite IKEA. But then it's like you hear it more, and it's like, oh, okay, that's actually pretty interesting how it
Yeah.
works. Anyway, I think we've
Your turn,
done
your
enough.
turn.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's my turn. So for my first pick in the Creepypasta draft, I've got Ben Drowned.
Oh, the
Oh.
classic.
Okay,
that-
okay,
yes.
guys. I have never seen anything to do with Ben Drowned.
You don't.
I've
You're in for a
I think that's
ride.
what
Okay,
I
so-
came in here fresh and new and ready to be invested.
Yes.
Like I don't know.
I'm just gonna get this out here. I'm only talking about part one.
Oh,
It's
there's
a
more.
3-part
Yeah.
creepypasta,
Jesus.
and admittedly, I only knew about the first part because actually the third part actually came out in 2020,
Oh my
which
god.
I never knew about. I scrolled through it and I was just like, this kind of like loses a bit of itself. It gets into like a weird
Yeah.
cult about it, and like apparently there's like a second Great Depression that no one knows about.
Yeah.
Okay, this is wild.
Yeah.
This is a
Yes.
wild concept.
So I'm just going to talk about the first part. So it starts off, there's this college student. His name is Judasable online. And he buys a copy of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the N64. And it's just labeled Majora.
Okay.
You know, so he gets it from this creepy old guy. He doesn't know anything about it. So he boots up the game, you know, it's like, oh yeah, excited, new Zelda. There's still a save file from the previous owner, Ben. And as he plays through the game, it's just like a couple weird like inconsistencies, like, oh, that's not like in the right spot, or this person like says something weird. And then it just later the game just bugging out. And then after a while, this is like borderline unplayable, and there's all different kinds of glitches, and he had to look through the game. He glitched it so that basically the moon will never crash. Because if you don't know about Majora's Mask, basically the game runs on a 3-day timer where if you don't reset the game in time, the moon will crash into the earth, and it will be an instant game over. So he performs a glitch so that he's in a perpetual 4th day, basically. The moon will never crash, he'll never die due to the moon. But then, like, the glitches, they start to get really weird. He sees particularly the Happy Mask salesman. He's basically sells you the mask, and he's just a really creepy character. Like, lots of people have had nightmares of him as a child. Okay. So, and he's just constantly hearing this laugh. And, you know, his face is, like, popping up, like, flashing every now and again. So
Wait, so it's like the story is a real life person finds a bugged out game? Because
Kind of.
Because to me, I thought it was all to do within the game. It's just like the game's lore, not.
it goes into
It's
bit
not
more,
a Wreck-It
yeah.
Ralph situation.
Yeah. After all that, he continues playing the game. He tries playing the Song of Healing, but after doing that, he hears the song like repeatedly, like in reverse, really creepy. And he starts seeing there's a statue you can get in the game where you have to play a song and you can make copies of certain characters. And one of them's a copy of Link with a very weird face.
Yeah.
And he's seeing this statue, he's seeing the Happy Mask salesman. At some point, he sees Epona, and they're all just watching him as he plays. And like eventually, he has enough, and he's like, "Oh shit! Like I can't get out. I've got to cause a game over." He tries drowning himself,
Oh.
And so I believe then it gets the text, you shouldn't have done that. And, you know, then like the glitches spiral like way out of control. You know, he starts like just spontaneously combusting, floating in the air. It's like he's not even playing the game anymore.
Dude, this is freaky.
Yeah. So he then goes, he's like, all right, I've had enough of this. This is like stupid. He goes to try and give it back to the old man. The old man's moved. Bum, bum, bum.
Is he supposed to always stay in place? He's just never supposed to move?
Well, the old man, we don't know where, like, what happens to him. I don't think they mention him again. Maybe in a later part, who knows. So then a neighbor informs him that Ben is actually the child who lived in that house before the old man. And he was a 12-year-old who died in that house. So OP's like, okay, it's got to be this 12-year-old haunting the cartridge. So then eventually, this is like the end of part 1. Ben like manipulates Judiciable like over time to basically unleash him onto the internet.
Oh.
So Judiciable, he essentially spread some files around. Like after asking like 4chan for advice, he spread some files around, which basically means Ben's like all over the internet. And that's the end of part 1. As I said earlier, part 2 and part 3 start to get into a bunch of other like different shit, but I think that's the main start point of it, and I think that's like where it's like really like at its peak.
That's not where I expected it to go.
I have read Ben Drowned, and I will say that I agree. Part 1 is where it was really good with all of the imagery, and you can hear in your head even the Song of Healing in reverse. And for me, at least, when you said Happy Mask Salesman, I just heard the laugh in my head.
Oh yeah, no, that iconic laugh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's super
Like,
creepy.
That wasn't a good laugh, but still.
It's really hard to recreate because I don't know how they do it, but it's like...
Yeah,
it's like a hum. It's like a hum.
oh, kind of
laugh,
like
yeah?
it's like it's so hard. Maybe
It's
I'll
that
play
distinct
it.
that you can't
yeah.
do it. It's that creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sticks in your head.
It's very like sinister.
Yeah, that reminds me
Yeah.
of like Doki Doki Literature Club and that kind of
Oh,
scary game. In the sense
Yeah.
of it's something trying to spread out.
Yes.
To
Yeah, I
ruin
can
the world.
kind of see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very limited knowledge compared to you guys.
I will say that I love the idea of just haunted media.
Yeah.
And I love just the idea of playing a video game and you see all of these things you've seen for years now suddenly take a much more sinister approach. And like just that line, you shouldn't have done that, is such a creepy and very vague thing.
It's simple but effective.
Very simple and effective. And that's where I feel a lot of creepypastas really shine, is that they were just so simple, but they had very effective ways of telling their stories.
Yeah, I think at least of the ones I'm bringing up, I think this is probably, as a pasta, whatever, this is the best one.
Yeah. Okay. I really need to read up on that.
Yeah,
That's very
it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jack, do you want to go on to your second?
The second story that I have prepared for you guys today is the story of Tiki Toby.
Tiki Toby. I've never heard of this
So-
one.
Toby.
Basically, what I will say is that Tiki Toby is a story about a boy named Toby who is continuously bullied for having Tourette syndrome, and that's why he's called Tiki Toby, because he has Tourette's.
So it's like a tick.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and has an abusive father, and he keeps having these hallucinations of something watching him, and generally having repressed memories of when his sister died. And later on, he goes crazy enough in a state of more like defense more than anything, and kills his abusive dad, runs away from home, and is approached by this figure who he's seen for his whole life, which turns out to be Slender Man, who appoints him as one of his proxies.
Oh my
This is
god.
like a two-parter.
And this
Oh
is
my
and this is what I mean about Tiki Toby, because you have Jeff the Killer, which I'm sorry, it's really bad.
Yes.
But Tiki Toby has like, it makes sense why he goes crazy. It is understandable that it's just it's very effective, as well as like bringing a Slender Man is strangely good. Like normally I would say like no, don't bring that in, but like here it works because it helps with the whole driving Toby crazy. And like the fact that he was bullied and abused, I would like somebody would eventually snap due to all that and becoming a killer.
The realism really pulls into the effect.
Oh, there's some things that I will mention about Tiki Toby is that it was strangely enough removed as a creepypasta character due to the author having some issues or problems with the fandom and stuff like that.
The fandom.
Yeah,
yeah,
they say it's
okay.
because the person didn't like that he was shipped with other OCs and creepypastas.
Why did I call it? Why did
yeah.
I call it in my mind?
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
And they were trying to profit off of that.
Was he like
and-
12?
Yeah, wasn't he also a kid?
No, I think Toby is or he's basically a teen. He is a kid, yeah. It's either way. It's like 17 or something like that.
Yeah, he's nearly an adult, which
Yeah.
is still awful.
And
It
yeah,
doesn't
so
work.
basically the author tried to distance himself from the fandom, which I agree with. And they were thinking about creating a new Tiki Toby story away from Creepypasta. Basically, yeah, have a reboot that's not associated with Creepypasta.
A
So they
reboot
reboot.
where yeah, he's just like super happy. It's like, oh, Slender Man, what are you doing here? Golly gee.
He's like just the complete opposite.
Slender Man, what are you doing here? I'm bringing together a team.
Oh my god, he doesn't mention it. That's so
Nick
good.
Fury.
Nick Fury-esque character.
I'm bringing together a
Slenderman.
team.
He somehow still has an eye patch on, still with no face.
Yeah,
He's still just
Well,
Nick
it's
But-
time for
Fury.
you to meet Jeff.
it's not for you.
My
Bum,
name's Jeff.
bum, bum, bum.
Oh my god.
It's funny you mentioned because like Slenderman and Jeff has like this weird rivalry, but I'm getting off topic.
Rivalry, okay.
Yeah.
I swear I remember like when I was like really young seeing like an epic rap battle was between them, like a knockoff one.
Yeah,
Knock off a big rap battle
Yeah.
but
history.
my point of like bringing Jeff the Killer and then into Tiki Toby is that Jeff is kind of bottom of the barrel, but then I feel like they took in Tiki and they really made Creepypastas more kind of believable, more creepy, and more set in reality. And it's at the same time as it is creepy, it's more tragic for me, Tiki Toby. But that's the beauty of horror sometimes, is that you can be very tragic with it and still bring in a lot of these creepy scenes. So I don't know. Really recommend Tiki Toby. It's a really good read.
Lots of horror villains are really just tragic, broken characters. Oh, I was abused, or like, I don't know, everyone around me's died and I'm just grieving, or like, you know, something like
They're
that.
tragic heroes.
Yeah, oh,
in
not
their
not
eye- in
not
their-
heroes,
in their
not
eyes.
heroes.
No, in
No,
their
like-
eyes, they're tragic heroes.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, someone who's just been wronged. I think that lots
yeah.
of great horror characters are like just that.
And that's kind of the realism with horror sometimes, is that some of these creepy monsters are not necessarily just monsters, but are people you may know or have known. And I remember, to really bring in this point, I'm going to actually recommend a movie called Creep, which really brings in this idea of you've known people like this. And they're not necessarily monsters, but they're just really disturbed people.
Yeah, the
I was-
realism.
I
the
was going to
realism.
start singing Creep by Radiohead,
No,
but I
no,
don't
no,
want to
no,
get copyrighted.
Then lastly now, with one of the very good old classics, The Russian Sleep Experiment.
Ooh.
Which-
Sorry, I was off timing. I'm sorry.
Which, no worries.
The other ones I'd be like, oh,
Creepy.
the other ones I'm like, they're not that scary to me. This one to me is scary, which is that a scientific experiment in Russia in the 1940s to see the effects of sleep deprivation over the course of days as the experiment progresses. So basically, Russians would take their prisoners into this test chamber to test out a gas that would keep them awake for more than normal. And it is shown that the lack of sleep transforms the subject into violent, zombie-like creatures who are addicted to the gas. And you have things in the story where the people will look out at the one-sided mirror where their creatures are, which they can't see, but they clearly look at them. And they cover up the glass with paper so they can't see into it anymore. And then they issue yo, we're gonna go make sure the microphone phones are okay so that we can check up on you guys, and we're gonna have to take off the gas for a little bit of time. And then you just hear this voice from these people. They just go, we no longer want to be free.
Ooh.
And it's weird. And then they eventually have to let them out, and a lot of things transpire, but eventually they remove the gas from the room, and these people yell and they scream as they are no longer awake, and they beg for gas. They're violent. They kill many researchers. One of them, as soon as they fall asleep, so one of these test subjects, they finally do fall asleep, they close their eyes, and immediately flatline. They die immediately.
Oh.
And eventually, one of the soldiers that are in this place, he grabs a gun and he shoots everybody, all of the different researchers and test subjects except for one, and he points his gun to the last one. He's like, what are you? And basically, this last test subject just smiles and says, we are the insanity within your mind that you escape to when you go to sleep. We are the ones that hide from you when you're in your bed. Finally, he shoots him, and then this creature, whatever it was, just says, so nearly free.
Oh.
And it's
Andrew's laughing.
I don't know.
I think that's kind of,
Why are you laughing? What's up?
I'm sorry. When he was like, "Who are you?" I was thinking, "We are Venom."
Who are you?
I need to know. What are you?
Oh my god.
I'm wanting chocolate.
Oh my god. That movie.
But I don't know. This story is. The thing is, due to history, this is possible.
Oh yeah, the KGB were ruthless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
KGB, Russia, those Soviets. This could have happened. the thing about what happens to people that don't sleep, it's a mystery. No one really knows. It is creepy.
I know you can die from it.
Yeah, it's like the realism really makes it that much scarier.
And I love just the what are you, and then explaining that when you go to sleep, that's what they are. That's what like the kind of the primal animality that's in our brains come through, and like the steam and emerges from the letting us sleep, and we get taken over. And just that last part of like so nearly free is like ominous. It's creepy. So yeah, it's just really real, and I think it's just a really good one from early internet like horror, and like one I wanted to really highlight for today's episode of like good old creepy stories to tell to your friends.
Yeah, like you said earlier, a lot of the creepypastas can be dumbed down to like child murderer becomes tragic hero in their own eyes. With that one, because we know, like you said, we know it's based off past history, you can really tell how that would be done, and you can tell that it would be done in real life, and it's just freaky.
Yeah, it also was made into multiple like movie adaptations over on YouTube. From my experience, though, I've checked them out, and I do not believe they live up to the story that was written. They don't include the things I think they should
include. I might
include.
give those a watch because, like me personally, I had heard of a Russian sleep experiment. I didn't actually know what it was about, other than like KGB gas, whatever.
Yeah,
it's like hearing about it, the ghoulishness and all that stuff. It's that's very creepy. Like I do agree with you guys. Like it's somewhat like realistic compared to just like child murderer on the loose.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's just such a. Also for me, it was just such a nice and easy read, and it has these really nice little elements of like pure horror of just these prisoners who just suddenly ask, "You can be free," and then just we no longer want to be. It's humanity has fully left them, and I think that's pretty cool. So what about the last one from you, Andrew?
My last one for me, you're gonna lose your shit, Jack.
Oh no.
My one's Squidward suicide.
Oh my god.
We were talking about this before.
No!
He was talking about how funny it is.
I have no idea. Okay, because I keep on repeating this. I have no idea what's gonna happen. This is just bare reactions. I do not know about Squidward suicide.
Again, we're gonna have to give me 5-10 minutes to absolutely rip this one to shreds.
That's fine.
Afterwards, because it's okay. Okay, deep breath. Okay, so Squidward suicide, also known as red mist.
That's an odd.
Yeah, the red mist refers to the blood.
Oh, okay.
Should I say? There's this college student. Notice how they're always young adults or college students.
Yeah, they're never like fully grown.
It's never like full grown.
Yeah.
It's always just like chronically online.
I'm already struggling.
Tumblr teenager.
Okay, so college student working as an intern for Nickelodeon in 2005. Because he's an intern, he gets the perk. Oh yeah, I can see early SpongeBob episodes. Bah!
I mean, who would want to see
horrible.
that?
Bah!
Oh, that's
sorry.
bad. That's bad.
Yeah, gotta hit your esophagus.
He's not wrong though. Do you not see Tom Kenny do it like that? He always does it like that.
Okay, so the original poster and the other a couple other staff in the meeting, they receive a tape named Squidward Suicide. Now they believe it to be like a prank because some of them have like dirty code names.
Yeah.
Like, dirty joke.
Yeah,
like working titles they just put on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they think it's a prank and they just watch the tape. The tape starts off, Squidward is preparing for this concert. It cuts to the end of it, and Squidward, we all know he's pretty shit at clarinet. That's very established.
Yeah.
How dare
So
you? He's trying.
Everyone in the crowd is booing him. Everyone is booing him. And they all have, get this, red eyes.
Hyperly realistic eyes.
Oh, the realistic eyes. They're always there.
Not realistic, hyper realistic eyes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
always hyper realistic. Yeah, again, like someone's got something for them eyes, man. It's like Kira from spoilers for JoJo's.
I don't care.
Kira from JoJo's. He loves them hands.
Oh.
He's got a hand fetish. It's like someone like in Creepypastas has got a fetish for eyes or something. It's a lot of that.
Yeah, to be honest, a lot of the drawings do have like very massive eyes looking
It's
at you.
always
really
massive
weird.
like red eyes or hyper realistic eyes on a cartoon.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is besides the point. The next part, Squidward is, of course, he's upset. Put your work into this clarinet and everyone's booing you. So it cuts to him like on a bed. I don't know if it specifies his bed or any bed, but anyway, it cuts to him on a bed and he's crying, he's upset. And, he's looking lonely.
That was so good.
That's so good.
That was so good. That was class. Oh my god.
That's why I can't take this
Yeah.
fucking story seriously. Because it cuts to Squidward crying, and all I'm seeing is just. I'm sorry, Andrew, for cutting it.
Please.
You should have clarinet.
I like how this is supposed to be Halloween and it's just not.
This is the best one to finish off.
Yeah, I love it.
This is true 10 Eyes fashion right here.
This is up here with the Shining Room 237.
Oh my
reaction.
god. No.
Okay, we're yapping a lot. So he's looking lonely on the bed, and strange noisings like ear piercing, like shrieks are playing. And as the scene cuts through, it's spliced with, I think it's like 1-frame flashes of like just dead children. And I'm talking real dead children.
Oh, Jesus.
And also, like the noises get louder each time. And I haven't mentioned this before, forgot to mention this before. Reportedly, Steven Hillenburg, the actual creator of SpongeBob, comes into the meeting at some point. And whilst this shit is playing, he's just like, what the fuck is this? Why are you showing me this?
Guys, this isn't my funny little cartoon that I made. Why is
Squidward crying?
what's happening with Squidward?
What's these dead children? I can't take this shit anymore, man.
I want to see this episode so bad.
Okay, so besides some dead children, eventually it gets to like a breaking point, and Squidward, he's now got, get this, the hyper-realistic red eyes.
Not the red eyes, please.
So many eyes on the 10 Eyes podcast.
Oh, indeed. You did this on purpose, Andrew.
Yeah,
You did this on purpose.
This was not intentional, but this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So he's got the hyper-realistic red eyes, but the camera zooms out. Squidward's holding a fucking shotgun.
What? What is going on
And
right now?
he puts, so there's apparently this detached, really deep voice. He commands him to do it. So he puts a gun to his mouth, blows his brains out, thus the red mist. Which
that's actually
no,
kinda cool.
I'm gonna get into this. Give me like 2 minutes. Okay. So the video ends. The poster and the staff are horrified. Okay, so the only thing I'm gonna add before I absolutely rip into this shit, they actually acknowledged it in SpongeBob. They in a season 12 episode, it's called, I believe, SpongeBob in Random Land. And as you can guess, it was a bunch of random shit. And there's one scene where they're opening up doors and they see a bunch of just different versions of themselves. Like Squidward's opened the doors. So they're seeing like all these archaic versions or these ancient versions or whatever. And then they open one door, it's just Squidward's bedroom. Nothing's wrong. Like then you get some static noise or some static like in the door. Squidward, then you've got the red mist version of Squidward, like just looking back with the like red eyes and shit.
He's just there in the room.
Yeah.
Like of course it was slightly dumbed down because this is it actually aired. Although fun fact, it's actually banned in the UK. They cut that scene entirely.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say as well from a story perspective. I know the interns are like, oh yeah, there was also like pictures of dead kids and like he came into the room, and like they're talking about the episode. If you think about the scene. Without, like, them talking about it, like, they would have seen, they're just watching the scene, you just have this.
Oh my god!
Can't stop.
Random voice just comes in while he's crying, Squidward looks up, do it.
Kill
and
himself.
And then
Venom's there in the
Squidward, the cartoon character Squidward, shoots himself and like flies backwards to the wall.
I missed that part.
Oh
He flies
my
back to the wall.
god.
Sorry, but that like imagery is so funny to me because you just
No,
see
because
that.
you could fully see that on TikTok nowadays.
Yeah.
Like you could just see that as a joke.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention they apparently never found out who did it.
Sure, buddy.
So the showrunner of the episode, Vincent Waller, or should I say the season 12 episode, not Squidward's suicide episode. He says he included it because he wanted to make fun of its, quote, try hard, edgy fan fiction. And it was only added as a reference and it is far from canon. Okay, now it's time for me to rip the fuck into this shit.
Yes.
I completely agree. Let me rip into this shit.
Please do.
Okay, first of all, again, going back to this, it's always a fucking college student. It's always, you can tell it's some chronically online 18-year-old who's, I want to scare the fuck out of some 9-year-old. how can I be as gory as possible?
Yeah, it's always
You
the
know?
worst.
Like, second of all, I'm sorry, man. It's just, Jack pointed out before, the thought of Squidward shooting himself is just,
It's so dumb.
It's-
it's
oh my
intended for
God.
kids.
third of all, this is a really minor nitpick. I don't know if you guys know this. Octopi, they've got blue blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made sure I looked that up before. They have blue blood. Like, why is it not blue mist? Like, why do they? One of my things with creepypastas is they always try, like, even with like situations like this, they always try to make them seem more human. But it's also, you know, with the hyper realistic red eyes, and it's just like, it doesn't work like that, man. It just doesn't work.
I
There's
think
too many jarring aspects.
I think the reason is that the author, or like the whole concept is like the horror of things being human when they're not, and then like the uncanny valley of like, why would Squidward have red blood and be human, and like all
Yeah.
that stuff, and like these like cartoon characters having really real eyes and real tears when they're not supposed to is a creepy aspect. But the thing is that when you do it once, it's effective. But when I hear it for the 5th time reading a Squidward creepypasta, I'm not gonna find it that scary. When you say hyper realistic eye, it's just over fucking used, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, another thing that just makes it, like, so shit is, like, Ben Drowned did it well, but, like, most of these, like, they just have 1 or 2 screenshots and nothing else. Literally, like, the Squidward thing is, like, the only thing I can think of is literally, like, Squidward with the red eyes. That's it.
Yeah, I think
Like, there's no other imagery I think of.
that doesn't sound scary to me. It's also why, like, the most popular ones, like Slender Man, I don't find scary. He's just a guy in a suit, and he's just behind you sometimes. And that's it. Like, that's it. Oh, I need to click these pages. He's behind me, isn't he? Like, it's just it's such a motif.
Sam,
It just ruins
Andrew,
it.
he's right behind me, isn't he?
It's like back to that event.
white guy!
Yeah, like, it's fine. It's just so great. I think creepypastas are worth it on the internet.
I think that Ten Eyes should have its own creepypasta.
What about,
So,
man?
Sam murdered Andrew.
Why am I murdering you?
Because
No,
you're
like-
the most... Oh, I know, Jack's the most insane.
Yeah,
Jack murdered me.
Jack doesn't have breakfast. He's the most insane.
In the room they all sat in, Jack pulled out a knife. Andrew said, "Why would you do that, Jack?" And Jack says, "For the funnies," and stabbed Andrew to death.
And
Did
then
it for the
in my
vine, like-
dying
I
breath-
did it for the vine, is
And
what
in
Jack
my-
said as he walked out of the room. At the end, it had really real eyes,
Yeah.
and hyper-realistic blood splurted onto the screen.
And then behind him, Slender Man is just standing there. That's it.
And
Yeah,
Slenderman ate popcorn and said "Basinga" as the episode
yeah,
ended.
And as my dying breath draws, I go, "What the Sigma?"
Oh.
It took 2 episodes and he did it.
Oh, no.
Or do I call you a lard ass? One of the two. Hey, pick your poison, man. Hey, well, to be fair,
A
Squidward did
lard
say
of
that.
chop. A chop of lard? Is that what you should call him?
Oh, no, no,
Call him a
it's-
chop of lard.
It's so
Turn-
needlessly edgy.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
is.
like it's growing up in the early 2010s this is such a core part of my childhood, but like, you know, you don't think about it, but I've got so many memories with creepypastas. There's many I didn't mention, or we didn't mention. Maybe we'll do a part 2. Who knows? Yeah, like, I mean, I was thinking Sonic EXE.
Yeah, I think we should do ARG.
Yeah, there was the Lavender Town music shit, and all, I don't know if the Hypno stuff would count. Like,
Oh, no,
maybe.
yeah, I know
yeah,
what that.
yeah,
But if
yeah,
you want to see Internet Horror Part 2, you know what to do. Just like and tell us,
Tell us.
was this good? Was this good? Would you like to have us talk more about other things? Maybe we talk about, like, analog horror another time.
I like analog horror
which
more,
we
like,
could-
personally.
which-
Yeah, yeah.
which-
I like
which we
the
could do a
one-
reaction of.
I said my thoughts on analog horror before. You guys did not like it.
Save it for the episode.
Yeah.
Let's save it for the
I
episode.
really like analog
But-
horror.
but-
I think I prefer it over creepypastas.
Honestly, me too. But I'm gonna end my thoughts on Squidward the Sewer Slide with one last thing to say about it.
Sewer slide. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm bad at the
so sorry.
clarinet. I think, sadly, there, gentlemen, we are going to have to end this episode of Ten Eyes. It was such a good time. I had a lovely time about talking about these internet horrors with you guys. A good old trip down the memory lane. Is there anything else you guys want to say before I sign us off?
Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys have been told before at home, but we've got some more socials. We're now on Instagram. Of course, we're also YouTube, Spotify. So we're going to be making posts on there. We've got a link tree, so you can see things like such as our letterboxd and like a few other like cool things about us.
You can see what we personally watch and what we do, and hopefully on the Instagram page we're going to have our reactions to certain media.
sorry.
As last week when we did Room 237, we have a lot of videos for us laughing and dying at these dumbass theories. So hopefully in
Should
the
be
future-
releasing very soon. If you do go into my letterbox, I have a personal review for Rocky 1 to 4 and 6. I don't personally review Rocky 5. That's another reason. But if you want to see my takes on that, it's a pretty good review about the Rocky franchise as a whole. But yeah, with that, we're gonna have to sign off because we've been yapping for long enough. So thank you all for listening in on that or watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching. As always, it means the world to us, and hope you share and come on next time. So see you all on the next episode of 10 Eyes.
Bye.
Bye bye, guys.